Squirtle has a shell streamlined for fast swimming. It can also withdraw itself into a shield, but what would happen if we threw him into the past or future? This was a piece I was actually quite clear on what I wanted to do with it from the start. I got the idea to turn the tail into a firefighting hose, and the rest of the design was basically just a normal robotic Squirtle. I did do one thing different that people who've seen the anime of Pokemon will definitely recognize. That is the sunglasses of the cool Squirtle group, and I definitely wanted to implement it into this design as well. We once again went for the jaw, the Iron Thorns jaw, because I felt like it would be cool that almost every single starter of Kanto had that feature, except Charmander, my bad. I just think it brings back some of the connection between each starter, and that's pretty cool. For the colors, we didn't do anything drastically different, just Squirtle colors, with of course the blue accent color for the lighted parts. The rendering wasn't necessarily difficult, but I did forget to add the white lights on the line art, so I had to go back after I already prepared the files for the video, but that's fine, because it definitely looks better with them than without it. Iron Squirt, the future form of Squirtle. This Pokemon uses compact jets of pressurized water to douse small fires with precision. It appears to take great joy in putting out even the tiniest flames, often clapping its hands afterwards in excitement. Overall, I'm really happy with this piece. Someone in my chat actually suggested to make him into a water fighting type because he's based off a firefighter. I know it's not technically working too well with the design, but come on, that's way too good of a typing to not use for this Pokemon and this line. I had to do it, I'm sorry. I just feel like I executed the Pokemon just the way I wanted to execute him, and I would actually give this a 9 out of 10. Now onto the future form of Wartortle. We give the first stage some very happy eyes, and I figured it would be fun to play into the happy firefighting style of the Pokemon. We did so by giving him a very energetic pose on its own tail, riding it like he's having the best time of its life, and he definitely looks like he does. It especially helps to give him the necklace of lighted parts, because I feel like it definitely sells as a surfer dude, someone who's just enjoying life. The other parts we added were definitely the mustache, because he usually has the wing-like ears, and I felt like maybe we could turn that into hair-like features. And a lot of firefighters rock mustaches as well. I might be a firefighter now. But I just think that's a great feature for a firefighting Pokemon. The colors are once again just the same, and I feel like in the end it just came together quite beautifully. Iron Torrent, the future form of Wartortle. This Pokemon is equipped with an advanced water dispersal system, allowing it to suppress flames as tall as buildings. It seems to become visibly more energetic as the fire grows, as if thrilled by the challenge. Now, Iron Torrent is for sure my favorite design out of this entire line, purely because its pose is just so energetic, he looks so freaking happy, and it genuinely feels alive, and that's something that's actually pretty difficult for me to execute in the drawing. It just feels stupid to have to say it every single time I make a best drawing ever, but it feels like I'm genuinely improving a lot lately. This is once again my favorite drawing ever. Sorry, Charizard. It's just amazing to see how fast you can actually grow if you keep trying to improve little by little and actually just draw once again, because it just works. Now onto the future form of Blastoise, where I must admit that while sketching this thing, it just didn't come together, like not at all. Even when I finished the entire sketching phase, I still thought this Pokemon was going to look ugly as heck. I will admit that in the end, it actually worked beautifully. Before we get to that point, I figured he had to have like a huge cannon to fight really big fires. Like it's the final stage, it needs to be better than the first two stages. In order to give him that big cannon, he would also need a bigger tail, because if he doesn't have that, he wouldn't really be able to push a lot of water through its cannon. Other than that, we made sure to segment its arms, but I did make sure to keep them quite beefy or rotund to actually show that he has power in them as well. I especially love the rendering of this piece, because we kept adding lights to certain lines in certain areas, and it was starting to look more and more robotic. I will say to the people that were in the chat and decided on some shinies, because that is what we do now, you can definitely check that out later, because we're making shorts about about it, and I just have to say, you guys are cooking, but not always great dishes. Iron Hydrant, the future form of Blastoise. This Pokemon unleashes torrents of water from its massive tail cannon, capable of even extinguishing infernos in seconds. Witnesses report it lets out a mechanical roar of satisfaction after putting out large fires, suggesting it finds fulfillment in its firefighting duties. Iron Hydrant really came together in the end. Once I put in the colors and started adding the shading here and there, it actually looked freaking amazing, which is not something I expected from the sketch, because I gave up hope when I actually made the sketch. I'm sorry. I feel like the name is quite fitting for this Pokemon, Hydrant with firefighting. And I don't know if you've seen it, but his special attack stat is crazy high. So this is definitely a tanky powerhouse at that. So I quickly wanted to update you guys that I now have a Patreon set up. Don't feel pressured at all to get it, but you dropping a comment and a like on this video already helps a lot. For the people that do wonder what you can get, for the best friend tier, you can pick one Pokemon to receive a Paradox form. And for the legendary friend tier, you can pick an entire line to receive a Paradox form. Go check it out, link in the bio. This was one of the pieces I actually diverted quite far from the original Paradox concept, but is one of the pieces that actually looks one of the best due to me doing that. We simply just went with an Ankylosaur Squirtle, as if he genuinely evolved over the years into what he is now, a turtle. So we gave him the tail on his back with the spikes on them, the spikes on its side, gave him some teeny little teeth, and we changed the bottom shell into a more belly area instead of actually looking like a shell with the different horizontal lines on them. We then arrived at the coloring part, where you can definitely see how far we went past the past rules for Paradox Pokemon. Jesus. Because at first we went with the blue color palette to keep it close to the original Squirtle color palette, but in the end we decided to move away from that and actually give him a brown Ankylosaur color palette, and boy, that looks so freaking amazing, especially with fur in this line. I love this line for sure. Smashing Shell, the past form of Squirtle. This Pokemon is supposedly born from boulders when they hit Earth from the highest of mountains. Even though it might resemble Squirtle a lot, this Pokemon is a lot stronger. Like I said earlier, I genuinely love this Pokemon. It isn't technically the best Paradox form, but at the same time it might be better than a Paradox form and actually thinks of an evolution that could have happened in real life. Overall, I would rate this entire line already, because the next pieces are going to be epic as well, a 9.5 out of 10, purely because it's so cool to see them as an Ankylosaur. And for the people that might hate on me for doing this, look at the shiny. The real Squirtle colors are still there, so if you want to get the real Squirtle, just hunt for it, bro. It's not that difficult in the new games. For the Wartortle piece, we didn't actually do anything drastically different than we did for the first stage. We added some simple eyebrows, we extended the head into like the star shape again, and we added back in the scales on his forehead. We did, however, change up the shield on his back, made it more pointy and sturdier looking. After that, we simply added in the tail, which was a big struggle point. I clearly remember how hard we struggled in order to get it to look as if it's part of the Pokemon instead of looking wonky as heck. And yes, it still looks a bit wonky, but I do really like the end result of this piece. I actually wanted to say that the pose is quite energetic, but we of course drew over an already existing pose, so I can't take credit of that. But overall, once again, a pretty good design. Hardened Tootle, the past form of Wartortle. Its armor became much harder due to its evolution. It now loves to battle against other Pokemon of the same species. Sometimes parts of their armor break, but it appears that they can easily fix them with the help of some fresh mud. Hardened Tootle. That is a name and a half. I don't really have any critique on this. I feel like it definitely just fits the evolution. It just adds a little bit more, because the little ear things are just a little bit different than our first stage and don't actually look like the Wartortle wings, but still kind of do look like that. So overall, I am really happy with this piece. And to be fair, I don't actually have anything I would change if I had to draw this over again. That's pretty good, to be honest. Now on to the past form of Blastoise, where we found a pretty good pose that actually turns his back towards the camera, and we were able to work off of that and really make the tail into the centerpiece of the Pokemon. The other centerpiece of the Pokemon is of course a shield because he is turned with its back towards us. And we worked our wonders to still make it feel like the right perspective and added a lot more lines to keep that rugged feeling of the shield. And overall, together with the added skills, he started to look more like a prehistoric version of itself after just adding each and every detail. I must say that my favorite part was once again to put in the colors, because that genuinely brings this entire line together. And to be fair, the rendering of this entire line's eyes were actually top tier as well. It genuinely made them feel a lot cooler than what they actually are. We then finished the rendering by adding skills on all of its meaty parts of his body, not the shield, and then it was just a beautiful freaking drawing. Battering Beast, that past form of Blastoise. This Pokemon never backs down from a fight. It will do anything to protect its previous stages. The tail of this Pokemon has been proven to be strong enough to smash even the hardest materials into 1,000,000 pieces. Alright, Battering Beast. This mother trucker is a powerhouse, like genuinely. If you take a look at his stats, he is beefed out and probably hits like a freaking truck. I definitely feel like it needs that, because Ankylosaurs were powerhouses in the real world as well. I know because I've been there, I'm that old. To be fair, I just really like the ground steel typing for this entire line. I feel like it adds something and it is a cool typing as well. So yeah, I am actually really happy with these pieces.